Hello, you're watching Vnews Bulletin. I'm Hyun from Hanoi. Now take a look at our top stories as usual. President receives U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate. President's upcoming visit to Singapore highlighted. Nearly 79% of students return to school. President Nguyen Xuan Phuc received U.S. Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, John Kerry, in Hanoi on February 23rd. President Phuc spoke highly of the guest's efforts to help enhance the Vietnam-U.S. relations, especially since the countries normalized their ties. He also applauded the significant outcomes of the recent visits to Vietnam by U.S. leaders, especially the trip by Vice President Kamala Harris in August 2021. Kerry, for his part, stressed the Vietnam-U.S. comprehensive partnership has become increasingly substantive and fruitful since there remains much room for their cooperation, including the climate change response. He added the U.S. can help Vietnam during the transition to clean energy, especially solar energy, and that it has many ideas, financial resources, and manpower to help the Southeast Asian nation with the climate change issue. Appreciating Kerry's opinions, President Phuc added that Vietnam welcomes the U.S. increased cooperation in Asia-Pacific, thereby contributing to more regional peace, stability, cooperation, and development. Vietnamese President Nguyen Xuan Phuc will make a state visit to Singapore. The trip, from February 24 to 26, is the first state visit Singapore received since the start of COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020. News website channelnewsasia.com quoted a statement of Singapore's Foreign Ministry as saying, in an interview with the Vietnam News Agency, Vietnamese ambassador to Singapore Mai Phước Dũng said the visit is of great significance and it is the first by a head of state to Singapore since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic and also the first high-level delegation exchange between the two countries since April 2018. The visit will help elevate the bilateral relations to a new height, reflected in a series of cooperation documents and big contests expected to be signed this time in the fields of defense, economy, information and communications, people-to-people exchanges, he added. According to the ambassador, the strategic partnership between the two countries, established in 2013, is at its best and is developing positively in all fields. On the occasion, Singaporean media also ran articles highlighting the Vietnamese president's visit. News website channelnewsasia.com quoted a statement of Singapore's Foreign Ministry as saying that the trip reaffirms Singapore's excellent ties with Vietnam as both countries prepare to commemorate the 15th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations and the 10th anniversary of the establishment of the strategic partnership in 2023. During his visit, the Vietnamese leader will meet Singapore's leaders and will also deliver a keynote address at the Singapore-Vietnam Business Dialogue, the website added. As of February 22nd afternoon, nearly 79% of students across Vietnam have resumed face-to-face learning, according to the Ministry of Education and Training.
The ministry reported preschool children in 50 localities have been attending class in person, while their peers in 13 remaining localities, including Hanoi and Da Nang, are still staying home due to complicated COVID-19 developments. Meanwhile, 52 cities and provinces have reopened primary schools and 59 have allowed junior high school students to return to school. At the same time, senior high school students in 62 cities and provinces nationwide have resumed in-person classes, with the exception of the northern province of Lai Cai. Under the Ministry of Health's guideline, only students who show COVID-19 symptoms or have close contact with COVID-19 patients have to take COVID-19 tests before returning to schools. Students are advised to keep safe distance with their classmates as well as students in other classes, avoid sharing personal items, and wash their hands frequently.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính has issued a dispatch requesting joint efforts of relevant quarters to ensure the balance between supply and demand of petroleum products to meet the needs of the domestic market and support socio-economic recovery and development.
In the February 22nd document, Prime Minister Phuc noted petroleum is a strategic, important and sensitive commodity that easily affects people's psychologies and directly impacts macroeconomic stability. He said it must be managed and operated in a specific and strict manner in accordance with legal provisions. The government leader asked the Ministry of Industry and Trade to coordinate with relevant ministries and agencies in managing the balance in the petroleum market to avoid stoppage in the domestic market. He also asked for conducting inspections and check of supply and distribution units as well as trading stations across the country in order to promptly detect and resolutely deal with acts upholding petroleum for profit and other violations.
We have more news coming next. Let's take a look. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism and the Guangzhou Peoples Committee co-hosted a virtual press conference introducing the Visit Vietnam Year Guangzhou 2022 on February 23rd. According to the organizers, the opening ceremony of the National Tourism Program will take place in Hoi An Ancient Town on March 25th. The closing ceremony, meanwhile, is slated for late December in Thang Binh District. Spanning its year-long course, the program features 192 events, including 10 national-level ones, 61 organized by Guangzhou, and 120 others by 40 centrally run cities and provinces in response to the tourism year. The events hosted by Guangzhou will promote the local spring tour, river-based and agri-tour, Chulai tourism, ethnic cultures, and the legendary Ho Chi Minh Trail, among others. This year, Vietnam aims to host 65 million tourists, including 5 million foreigners. Goods import and export via Lai and Label International border gates in the central province of Guangxi have surged, particularly after the Tet holiday.
The Customs Sub-Department, the Lai border gate in Dak Krom district, recorded 4,404 vehicles carrying goods via the border gate between January 1st and February 20th, up 66% year-on-year. Meanwhile, the Label International Gate in Huong Hoa district received more than 20,000 vehicles during the period, with the number starting to soar from February 15. Its total import-export value exceeded $73 million, including $13 million worth of exports. Goods for export were mostly construction materials and consumer products, among others. Meanwhile, main imports included motorcycles, solar panels, and chemicals. Lai links Guangxi and Salavan province of Laos, while Label connects the province to Savanakhet province.
With 80% of workers returning to work in factories and abundant orders right from the beginning of the year, the footwear sector has seen bright prospects for this year. According to the General Statistics Office, in the first month of 2022, domestic firms exported $390 million worth of handbags and umbrellas and over $1.93 billion worth of footwear products. The Vietnam Leather and Footwear Association said that local firms have received enough orders for the whole second quarter of 2022, which is a good condition for them to speed up production and regain growth pace after a long period of stagnation caused by COVID-19. The association said that the reason making Vietnam attractive to big players in footwear and sportswear industry is the good system of factories and competitive labor cost. Moreover, consumers in the U.S. tend to like made-in-Vietnam products. Some provinces up north are covered in frost again after a cold snap occurred over the weekend. While the white sceneries excite tourists, local residents and authorities have to seek measures to protect cattle and travelers against the cold.
Some provinces up north are covered in frost again. It is the result of a strong cold snap over the weekend. Temperatures dropped to below 0 degrees Celsius on high mountains. This is the coldest it's ever been this winter. These tourists can't be more excited.
This is the first time I have ever seen frost.
It's very cold, but standing here in this amazing scenery and experiencing this rare freezing rain phenomenon, I'm feeling so happy.
But local residents are worried of their cattle. Severe cold is causing damage in the northern region and in the north-central province of Nghệ An, killing 1,862 cattle as of 5 p.m. on February 22nd.
These cows are my family's most valuable possession. I came up here to take them home to stay with us, protecting them from the cold.
Local authorities have warned travelers of slippery icy roads. Roads will be closed if the weather gets worse. According to the National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting, as the north received an additional wave of cold air, the temperatures have continued to drop and the weather turned to a cold and dry state.
A number of travel firms have resumed outbound tours after the Civil Aviation Authority of Vietnam announced the removal of restrictions on air passenger transport.
Second Tourist has restored its tours to the US, the Maldives, the United Arab Emirates and Thailand. It has planned to launch more tours to Europe, the Middle East, Northeast Asia and Southeast Asia in March. Viet Travel is also working to complete its outbound tours with charter flight to India in late February and another to Dubai next month. Meanwhile, Golden Smile Travel has offered tours to Dubai and Thailand recently. It will resume tours to other markets like Southeast Asia, Australia, and the US in the time ahead.
Despite having the same main ingredients as the bánh chưng made by the king pepper of glutinous rice, pork and mung beans, the bánh chưng gù đen of black hunchback chưng cake made by ethnic people in the northern mountainous province of Lào Cai has its own taste and shape.
The black hunchback chưng cake of the Sai, Tây, Nung, and Giao ethnic people in Lào Cai province is made to pay tribute to the ancestors and to heaven and to pray for bumper crops and favorable weather in the new year. It also helps raise local earnings while making the local staple and culture more accessible to others around the country. For the local ethnic minority people, the cake is billed as the soul of the northwestern region's cuisine.
We have been making bánh chưng gù đen for decades. They have been sold in Hanoi, Thanh Hóa Province, Haiphong City, and many other places.
The cake is in the shape of an ethnic woman carrying a basket on her back, bending down to the work of the field, and honors the hard work and vigilance of local people.
I sell up to 100 cakes each day and 300 during Tet or other festivals, as well as providing a stable income. Making bánh chưng gù đen also helps us preserve the traditional values of the Jay ethnic group. I learned how to make bánh chưng gù đen from my grandmother many years ago. To protect our traditions, it also increases our family's earnings.
Bánh chưng gù đen is readily found in many different places, but the version in Lào Cai has a unique taste, as it's made from the ash of nuknak trees, a thick tree growing in the mountains and forests that is said can dispel evil spirits. The cake is not only a special dish in Lào Cai during the Tet holiday, it's also the essence of the northwestern region's cuisine, and bears the cultural values of the ethnic groups in local border areas.
And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thank you for being there with us and see you next time.